Hello and welcome, my Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun. Welcome to your timeless true love read, Path of True Love read, though being recorded in February 2021. I am your reader, Angelo Lyons Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, the Archangel of Lyons. Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey. Hey girl, hey. Happy to be doing these readings. I found a pace at which I can do a series, another series parallel to this one, multitasker that I am, you know what I mean, Sagittarius. So let's get down to business. We are going to do a Celtic Cross, 10 cards, but based on these first two cards, Carolyn Mace Archetype Cards, to get you the dominant archetype for you on the path of true love. We'll talk about that in a minute. And someone crossing your path. But the path of true love is your spiritual path, your healing journey, your hero's journey, your artist's way, your warrior's path, whatever you want to call it, through the lenses of your relationships and the lessons you learn and the growth that comes there, and through soul contracts, twin flames and soulmates and all that, oh my, and this is your read, right? So it's not a soulmate read, it's not a twin flame read, this is about you and about your personal empowerment. And there is an extended where I go essentially hog wild with the tarot and a whole desk full of divination tools over there. Crystal Oracle, Whispers of Love, Oracle Kuan Yin, Archangel Michael, healing mantras, lovers, angels, just all over the place. So what you're getting here, though, is 12 cards of basic Celtic Cross, as I said, clarifying for these two people. So it's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and check your other signs. And if you're interested, I am doing live online tarot parties, Zoom style, actually with Zoom. I got Zoom Pro on my Drawing the Circle Productions Facebook page. If you are interested, yes, I'm now monetized on 2 platforms. I'm so excited I could giggle. And my ebook, Words of Grace, is coming out. We're shooting for this Virgo full moon in February. So maybe if you're watching this afterwards, go check out my book. I'm sure I'll put the link in retroactively. Otherwise, let's get up in this gig. It is a general read, as I said. You might want to check your other signs, because sometimes you're getting different people on the path of true love, because they're not all romantic sexual, but it seems in the extendeds we get deep down into that. So they've been really powerful and really great. I've been enjoying them. Enough. Let's do this. Feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will, along with me, staying in the present moment, feeling our way through this together, because it's me and who knows how many people are going to watch this, tapping into the quantum field for you. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box. Please take a nice deep breath. And away we go. My collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, the ascended masters of the path of true love, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, that real 9th house spiritual expansion vibe here. Tap it into that, please. What is the dominant archetype at play within the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? Watching this video, receiving this reading, February 2021 or timeless. We'll take that one. And this is the other one. Okay, they never do that. They never do that. And this is the person crossing your path. I guess there's some expediency. Well, and I could see why. And I could see why. Now, let's just start off by saying this eliminates that whole, am I the divine masculine? Am I the divine feminine? This is you. I'm not turning it over yet. This is somebody crossing your path. Whether or not it's romantic, sexual or not, we're not going to know from the first 2 cards down in a general read. So you've got the divine family archetype. Now, please keep in mind, it's the divine family archetype. Oh, right. I forgot. This is in the title. You already know. I have to stop doing that. You wouldn't have watched it if you couldn't handle the word. You got the martyr archetype. You got the martyr archetype, but it's the divine family archetype, and I said in one of the earlier videos, who else got this? Wait, this is exactly why I write this down. Virgo got this. Virgo got it the exact same position too, the Martyr as the cover card. So if you got any Virgo in your chart, you might want to check that out. And that was the Martyr with the prostitute. So this is what I mean by checking your other signs. It's like this could be different aspects of that same if you have that lineup, or you're cross-watching. Crotch watcher. I fucking love the Real Housewives of Tarot. She's amazing. Who crosses your path though is an athlete, which I'm totally down for, but it depends on the type of athlete, as I will explain. So Divine Family Archetype, Action Family, Creative Family Archetype. And oh yeah, the athlete was just in one of the readings I did today. This is when you run 2 series parallel and you're in production, you're on a roll. Because actually the work, career, vocation readings I'm doing right now, those get same day, right? I record them, they're produced the same day. This I do for the next day, so I don't have to like jump on it with the extended, right, and all of that, and get it out. All right, so let me read it. You got the Martyr archetype here representing you, and I will tell you, we all have suffered, and not just within ourselves, with other people in our lives, those who use martyrdom. But someone can be in a martyr mood and not necessarily have the archetype active. That's a really smart point to make, actually. But even if you do have this archetype, you have it like any archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? But remember, it is divine. Keep that in mind. On the path of true love, this can totally be about suffering for the cause of true love, as you'll see. But the shadow attribute, addiction to self-pity. Like, what are you like on Valentine's Day, right? Like, what are you doing to yourself on Valentine's Day if you are single? Or, you know, on the path of true love, dealing with, if not romantic issues, family issues, right? Path of true love can be about your parents, about your siblings, about, or the lack thereof, right? You know, co-workers, friends. It can be in so many different ways. And we've all dealt with people who are addicted to self-pity. In other words, the power that they get out of it. They're able to manipulate people. But now you think the light attribute, you'll really hear why it's a divine family archetype. Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Service to yourself. The transcendent nature, and that's why I was pointed out in the card, the Martyr here is actually floating through the sky, surrounded by roses, right? And I'm talking long stem roses, right? There's a real divine upliftment, that transcendent nature. I mean, so you are looking at Gandhi, you're looking at Jesus, you're looking at, you know, Abraham, not necessarily Hicks, but Abraham, you know, the Old Testament Abraham, right? Moses. I mean, Moses could have been Pharaoh, but he was like, nope. No, I'm going to be authentic, right? And I got this cause, you see, there was this burning bush. It's a long story, right? Frogs and all that. This is a scriptural ancient archetype, and yet you can have members of your family that are just like, oh, get down off the cross, somebody needs the wood. So if you find yourself doing that, I've done it myself. I am self-employed, so I complain to the cats. They're like, which is their version of. So it is what it is, but to be a martyr on the path of true love, to be a martyr for love, for the true cause, no matter what it takes, no matter what, you know, that's a very, very powerful thing. And what if that is with a family member, right? You know, no matter what it takes, I love you, I will, you know, go through whatever is necessary. It's a tricky archetype, but some of the greats have had it. I mean, Gandhi, for God's sake. Sorry, whatever. Don't want to cross over too much comparative religion. The athlete archetype, as I said, creative family, the shadow attribute, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. And we've seen plenty of that in the past, whatever century. False sense of invulnerability and entitlement. And that is right in the solar plexus. I can feel this. Entitlement is the deadly sin of the solar plexus. According to Carolyn Mason, her book, Defy Gravity. I'm pretty sure it's Defy Gravity, not Defying Gravity, although one is Idina Menzel, one is Caroline Mason. I don't know which it is. At the moment, I should really write it down and put it in front of me on the clipboard. But certainly that thing of excessive entitlement, somebody crossing your path, but it's a creative family archetype, so catch the light on this. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. So it's not necessarily the hero on the hero's journey here, although the hero is also in the action family of, no, this is creative, not action. It's just, I'm telling you, a lot of this has to do with being active. I wouldn't go so far as to say this is a divine feminine and this is a divine masculine, but yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. That not necessarily applicable here in the sense, but it could be. All right, let's clarify. Now, what you get in here, those are the first two. I said 12. I can do the math, that much at least. We're going to Celtic Cross this. Daughters of the Moon Tarot, though, is what you really need to know about on the path of true love, in my experience, which is how this feels, right? How does this feel? Your heart, throat, third eye, crown stuff, right? The world behind your eyes. So how this all feels the way to it, because path of true love, you can't do it all here. And in the extended read, I take the Mythic Tarot, and we cover every single position in the Celtic Cross before diving into Oracle land over there. So let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. See, this feels very, very interesting, though. Like, I don't get, like, my heart feels good about this. Please, my goddesses of fire. And the sign of Sagittarius. I need 10 cards, Celtic Cross, for the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this read, or cross watchers, etc. What's going on here? Path of true love for the Sagittarian, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Celtic Cross. What is the card that covers? We'll do 10 face down and then we'll start over. You got it. What covers the Sag with the Martyr archetype? Being crossed. Who crosses their path? An athlete. What does that feel like? What's going on there? What is at the core they may not be aware of, what they don't see coming, but it's kind of influencing both of them, sort of like what the crossroads is kind of about, the two of them there. You might not be aware of what is behind them on the path. My Sagittarian, February 2021 are timeless. What crowns, like orbiting, not quite ready to land, but in the air, present moment, kind of, sort of, crowning. What's before them on the path, like what's just down the road, most probable, considering timeline and lifetime. The lesson, what the gods and the angels and all of them are trying to teach them through all of this. The lesson, how this feels from the outside looking in, how the world kind of perceives this, if not physically, visibly sees it. That will do in the extended. Their hopes and fears, the destiny that can be wrought or hewn from the fate, that which they cannot change, the journey they take, destiny, and most probable outcome, considering timeline and lifetimes involved on the path of true love for the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love, February 2021, or timeless. Thank you. They really made me work for that. I had to really keep my eyes closed so I would feel my way through it. All right. And maybe that's a thing, right? I find that even when my contact lens spins in my head when I do this, because it does. It's got a mind of its own. Then it convinces the other one to do it, right? It's just horrible. That means something. Like, it's all divination at this point. All right, let's see. We got the Martyr and the Athlete. Ooh, the Martyr with the Coyote Woman, the Trickster. This is a major arcana card. Now, it's half of the Devil card, but it's the other half in this deck is Oppression, which is really when you think of that toxic sort of chains, codependence, drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff. Chips, dips, chains, whips, you know, the shadow side of stuff. This is sort of there. Certainly the shadow is in this card, but this is the Coyote. You may not know this, but there is a trick being played on you by the divine. That's really how that feels. Either that or you're being really wicked stealthy. Maybe there is some sneaking around here, but it's for self-preservation. It's sort of like having to go covert to pull something off. And I do feel that, but I feel with that martyr archetype, that's the thing. Are you covertly manipulating with this person, because of this person, in some way, shape, or form, martyring in that sense? Is there an addiction there to self-pity? Because then that would really indicate the other side of the devil card, which may come up in the rest of these cards I don't know yet. An addiction to self-pity. But it might also be the transcendent nature of a cause of kind of, in a way, being covert. And then again, I get this feeling, we'll have to see in that 7th position, your lesson. Because there is also that thing that sometimes the divine just screws with you in order to teach you a lesson, particularly on the path of true love. You know, you laugh later. Wow, it was all perfect. Divine plan. The athlete crossing you, though. 3 of Pentacles. I like this. This is my favorite card in this deck with the Minor Arcana. It's Aruru. Aruru? A-R-U-R-U. Clay woman takes the dirt beneath her feet, sifts it through. It ain't all clay, right? You know, like, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to take clay from the earth, right? And then pound it down, sculpt it. But this is its stage right before it goes into the fire and becomes something solid and stable. It's still in its mutable form. So this athlete crossing the path here feels like there is a real potential for some real world stability here, or at least that's how they feel. Probably a creative type. I mean, it is a creative family. Archetype, again, doesn't have to be a literal athlete. Like I said, I myself, when I'm writing a book, it's like I can go days and days and days and days and days. It is an athletic thing for me. Well, it's a creative energy, 2nd chakra thing for me. And I'm driven. I'm Mars conjunct Leo rising. Yeah. yeah. So I get that. But there's something very earthy and very grounded here with this athlete. I'm just a little concerned about that entitlement thing. Because you have someone in entitlement with a martyr, that's like a feedback loop. It could be very twin flamey, just saying. Let's keep going. What's at the core of this y'all don't see? Well, there's resolution coming. 10 of Blades in this deck I love. It's a 10 of Swords, but it's not that betrayal thing. This is about everybody saying their piece. Now, this is how this feels on the inside, and maybe you might be avoiding that, right? Maybe you're not ready for that just yet, but just know, if you're unaware of it, that there's resolution happening inside. Right, both of you. You both have pieces of the puzzle put together. It's the ceremony of passing the talking stick in this deck called the rattle. So if the chief is holding the rattle, they are the one that speaks. Everyone else has to listen. But even once they pass it on, it's like then they are the one that listens, and that is the person that speaks. So it feels like there's a communication going on here. Perhaps it's even an intuitive thing that this is coming. We will see what it looks like in the extended. But I think that's really important because it subconscious forces, even here, what you're unaware of, the subconscious, that the pieces of the puzzle are already there. All the deets are there, all the facts, all the puzzle pieces, right? And maybe you know that, and maybe that's why you're being a little stealthy right now. Where is this coming from? What's in your behind? Whoa, well, the witch. Ooh, witch work. What'd you conjure? What'd you cast? What'd you pray for? What do you manifest? What's on your vision board? Who's on your vision board? Now look, this does not immediately make this a romantic sexual thing, but I will say, regardless of this, there has been some creativity in play here. I feel, at least on your part, the witch is really initiating spirit inspiration down through choice and thought, right? Spirit, air, and fire and water into earth. But now we got 2 major arcana cards out of 4. One is where you've been, and one is where you are now. So let's see what else comes of this before we go too deep into that. What's crowning? Lovely. Kuan Yin, 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment, go with the flow. Contentment, too, I will say. Like, wish fulfillment, I understand that, but really, my wish fulfillment is the 10 of Cups, isn't it? Like, I want to go all the way there. I want to peak and then release, you know what I'm saying? Because start back at the Ace of Cups. But definitely, I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. One of the healing mantras from the healing mantra deck, that is absolutely in the extended. I love that deck. Really helps. And it is going with the flow. And this is a little bit more chill. And if that's what's hovering and wants to come in, that's lovely. And that might be as a result, because even if you're not aware of it, deep inside, you kind of know something. Now, it's not water. The water is crowning. Maybe that could even be an intuitive aspect of really getting, oh, this is exactly how it's supposed to be right now. Like, I'm content with this. Because inside there are some realizations. An ending of mental cycles, like things that you probably had been thinking about, had kind of bubbling on the back burner of the subconscious mind. Pieces have come together. Now, and particularly in relationship to this, what is behind you, and to see what is before you. Interesting. The Nine of Blades, criticism. Now, if you take the word criticism, how we just use it every day, it's only in the negative. But criticism is also a part of editing, right? What do you want? Someone who's going to edit your shit without the critical eye of really looking for every apostrophe in the right place, quotes going the right way. Hey, man, quotes going the right way. That's tricky. That's detail, right? That's what I mean. Boop, 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 boop. I am a Virgo. That's what we do. That's why I have to get editors, because if I edit my own shit, that's all, it would never get out, because I'd always be making refine, and I feel a bit of that. But I also do feel here that this might have led to, and may continue to lead to, if not sleepless nights, then a lot of interesting, because it's the card that precedes this one. So, okay, got it. So deep inside, you are unaware of what this is, but you're continuing to still focus upon it, and I think that's a good thing. If this might even be, you know what, it is what it is for right now. And it certainly would help somebody ease off on the suffering aspect, particularly if it's, I just love the words here, learning the transcendent nature of service, there's your word, to oneself or a cause. But how about to oneself? And that's kind of what this feels like. Like, that's really being loving to yourself, to even kind of say, you know what, for right now, I'm going to trust that deep inside myself, I know what this is, right? Whoever this athlete is, this feels majority about you. But that, not that things are going to get critical, but that I could see this maybe keeping you up at nights, really trying to piece it all together to understand it. Now, I will say, if you're, where you're headed with this is the 9, but deep inside you already have the 10, and, well, you don't see it coming. That is the kind of thing I always say with the Celtic Cross. The 6th position and the 10th position, you have some wiggle room with. There are other quantum threads. There are things that you can do about that. And honestly, I mean, sometimes we just need the 9 of Blades. We just need the 9 of Swords. You know, swords on the wall. I'd be like that too if I had that much razor sharp shit above my head while I was sleeping. That much of it. I don't mind 1 or 2. Well, 2 of Swords over the bed's probably not good feng shui. Just saying. But I get that. Sometimes there's just like where we really need to focus. That's how this feels. All right. What's the lesson? Which might very well be the focus on the lesson 2. The Star. Your lesson is to orient yourself. You're learning how to orient yourself to your highest guidance and grace. Your greatest hopes and your greatest fears have now been indicated. We will get there in a card or two. But in other words, your lesson here that is being taught to you, it is taught, the divine might be fucking with you a little bit. The trickster energy, which, by the way, is very Sagittarian. Just saying. Not necessarily the devil card astrologically or anything like that, but that the hunter, right, goes stealth, right? Just doesn't like, hi, I'm the hunter. Let me shoot you down. Hungry. This is definitely, you are learning to trust that the cause to which you have affixed your star, right? That the star that you have aligned yourself with, you are learning what that is about. And you are being tricked into it, because guess what? That's the path of true love, folks. Look, I am not saying this is a romantic sexual thing, but I will say the cards that are on the table, though they don't lean in that direction, the energy coming off of them feels that way. From the outside looking in, what does this all feel like? Interesting, the Ten of Flames. Now, to me, the Ten of Flames in this deck doesn't have that same martyrdom, if you will, of the traditional Rider-Waite image of carrying the burdens, right? This, if anything, is the celebration of a completion of desire, the Hora. Hava, Nagila Hava. Well, it is a circle dance. You can't go like that. It doesn't have the same effect. I've been involved. I've been to Jewish weddings, bar mitzvahs. It's a lovely card, and it is a card of celebration. That's something that was worked hard for, has been completed. Now, you put that in terms of dealing with an athlete, that definitely can be that there is a major accomplishment going on here between the two of you, but a cycle has closed, or at least it feels that way. Somebody got what they wanted here, but still all the pieces of the puzzle aren't together. And I guess that's why your lesson really is, this may not make sense in the physical world. Now, again, this is all how this feels, heart, throat, third eye, crown stuff. I could see where somebody would be in confusion about this. But my eye just keeps going back to Clay Woman with this athlete. Whoever this person is, if they don't have their shit together, they're getting their shit together. The component pieces are there, right? It's just a question of them getting it into the correct shape for them, I guess, symbolically speaking, before they put it in the fire and harden it into something permanent. But this definitely says there is an achievement here, or it feels that way, that a cycle has closed, that something that started as an Ace of Flames is now the Ten of Flames. Inspiration has been fulfilled somehow. All right. I mean, it's very Sagittarian, I'll say that. You know, it's like you were hunting for something, you went out, you hunted it down, you got it, symbolically speaking. Your destiny here is the Ten of Cups, the ecstasy card. So you go from what crowns the 9 into your hopes and fears. Wow, the ecstasy card, Inanna's House of Heaven. Your destiny here is worth whatever the divine is trying to do. But really, I could understand that thing of the real guidance here in that crowning card. With Kuan Yin, you know, it's not like Kuan Yin, she's gonna, you know, bitch and moan about stuff. She's like, may all things be exactly as they are, for all is in the divine plan, and I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. Let everything else be as it is for a hot second, right? Let's listen to the waterfall, right? Let's watch it flow. Let's go with the flow here. There's something in that. It just feels so connected. That ecstasy is like happiness on, I don't want to say on steroids, that's a bad thing. That's not what I want to say. It's jacked up about 100,000 volts, right? Ecstasy is a very high vibration that can drive you mad, by the way. That's the spiritual ecstasy part of it, the mystical ecstasy part of it. Not talking chemicals here. Except soma, maybe. You generate in your own third eye. What is the outcome here? Conflict. This very much feels like the divine is playing a trick on you in order to teach you something. Now let me clarify. This is how it feels inside of you as your outcome. So I wouldn't call this necessarily a warning read, because 4 of Flames, 4 of Wands, people say that's not what that card means. It's like, well, in this deck, it's saying, yes, there is a stabilization of fire, but in a conflict, things are a little bit at a standstill, that then the 5 of Flames would move forward into then the 6 of Flames, the balance. So a little bit of a 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake. If you're around my age or older, if you ever had to drive an automatic, car, drive an automatic, and you stall, right? In order to keep it going, you have to do that gas brake thing. I know it's not like that anymore, but that is my feeling. Like, okay, got to keep moving. It's very, very herky-jerky, but it's inside of yourself. The conflict about what to do here. Now, here's the thing. You know inside of yourself what you need to do subconsciously. Are you this is hard to say. Are you getting off on the power that you have by playing the Martyr, when actually the situation that you're dealing with here, this person is getting their shit together? I think you know this on the inside. So that's what leads me to think that's not the power. Like we've all done that. No shame, no shade. But that light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or cause. And they're saying it loud and clear to me. This is about your spiritual power, right? So it may not look like it. Right? It may not look like it, but I think there will come a point where that internal conflict inside of you, I'm going to put this all together, but really just connecting certain dots here. There's a lot of 10s. Well, there are 2 10s, right? And in the regular tarot, people would say the 2 challenging ones, right? 10 of Swords and 10 of Wands, but that's not the vibe these cards have. It does feel like there is a completion. It feels that way. It just might not look that way. And I think that's what's even throwing me off a little bit. I mean, I will say, this 9 of Blades, this is not keeping you up at night. If this is really you honing in, focusing in, it's like I've got to really get into, well, like I said, the 6th card and the 10th card, to really focus in. Like, what is the conflict here? What is the conflict inside of myself? And if you can get to that place bit by bit with that Martyr archetype and getting, all right, then maybe this is about the transcendent nature of self-service. Now, I don't mean being self-serving. I grew up with that word as a bad word. Now I realize it's self-care. It is self-love. It is self-respect. It is self-esteem as a verb, which is what it is, not a noun. But that critical thing then comes into a different light. You see what I'm saying? I'm just going to say be careful on this. And, if this is, I could see this is kind of specific, even though it's confusing. But what I love about it is the really high spiritual aspect of here. I mean, all right, so let's go. How many major arcana cards we got? 1, 2, 3. Not a ton, but it's the Witch, the Magician, half the Devil card, the Trickster, which is very, very different than the traditional usual way of looking at that, and the Star, the highest vibrational spiritual card in the deck, because the Star is higher in altitude than the Moon and the Sun, and that your destiny is 10 of Cups. This can very much be about unconditional love. Like, this is definitely a Path of True Love read. But then if you take this as is like, this is definitely the end of the cycle, and I know that inside of myself, but it's still going to take some thought. It's still going to take some focus. There are some critical elements. Do you know what a critical period of time means? It's like, like souffle. Not that I make it. But, I'm a potion witch. I make amazing sauces and soups. That's my deal. But, there's a certain point with a souffle, right? Or creme brulee. I don't want to burn that fucker too much. I like it crunchy, not burnt, right? Burnt. There's a critical time here. There's a critical period coming up, and maybe that is sort of your warning to say that, yes, a conflict might very well be coming up and within yourself, or perhaps to a head. And of course, that we'll be looking at in quite detail, I have a feeling, in the extended read. So, may the Sagittarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love. February 2021 are timeless, and as the Martyr, they may really learn the transcendent nature of service to themselves as necessary, and or a cause, if that's what's going on here. And that this athlete that crosses their path seems to not be playing a great, big, huge role in this. However, the energies that interconnect them, may these full cycles that are coming full here, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the 10 of Swords, really come together, that they may move forward, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may become the best that they can be and fulfill their roles in the divine plan, resolving conflicts that were necessary and part of the path of true love, so that they may become more loving, more wise, and more powerful in all of their relationships for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. And if you're a crotch watcher on this one, I have to stop saying that. That's hers. I'm not going to rip off her stuff. I love her. Real Housewives of Tarot. But if you are a cross watcher, I have to say, this feels like this reading is almost solely about the Sagittarius. But, you know, please feel free to comment. And if it did make sense to you, please like if it helped. You know, you want more, subscribe. And if you want the extended, I'll be taking a 5-minute break, getting out the other decks, having a little sip of my coffee, and diving right back in. So wishing you the very best and the very best of all of this. And if you want to come tarot party with me, read the links below. Hail. Farewell, and blessed, blessed be.